Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. It's the end of 2023 and I am counting down my top 10 favorite Pokemon cards of the year. And you're going to see that I kind of fudged the numbers a little bit because there are way more than 10 cards on this list. But that's not really what's important. We're really just celebrating the best cards of the year. And of course, this is super subjective. So your list might look completely different from mine. This is just my list for what I think are some of the best cards that came out so far this year. And I'm sure this is going to be super controversial, but hear me out and let's see what's actually on the list. Before we get started, I would like to thank Buyee for sponsoring today's video. If you haven't heard, Buyee is the go-to source for picking up exclusive Pokemon cards that are only available in Japan. I've used Buyee for years to pick up all kinds of cool cards like Mario Pikachu, Scream Mimikyu, and Japan Post promo cards. Buyee gives you a direct line to Japan's hottest collectibles, and they will ship it to you anywhere in the world. They've just launched their new TCG-centric storefront, making it more collector-friendly than ever before. Using their service is incredibly easy. I just used their service to pick up the new Unigaba promo cards from the Pokemon Center Japan for free with my purchase through Buyee. Click the link in the description to sign up to Buyee today. Buyee offers full buyer insurance and delivery inspection as well, so you can have peace of mind that you are getting what you paid for. New signups get a 10% coupon off your very first purchase. Thank you again to Buyee for sponsoring today's video. Starting off strong, we have two really gorgeous Pokemon cards, and that is the Mewtwo VSTAR as well as the Charizard VSTAR counterpart. Did these two cards release in 2023? Sort of. I'm fudging it a little bit because the Mewtwo VSTAR came in Crown Zenith and the Charizard VSTAR came in the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, but they kind of go together as a pair, especially since Crown Zenith released at the very start of this year. So this pair of cards is just really fantastic. I love cards that transition the storyline between different cards, and it's just super cool to have this battle between Mewtwo and Charizard. I just see a little kid holding a Mewtwo and Charizard action figure and having them bounce their heads against each other, just playing and having a ton of fun. So that's the sort of scene that this encompasses. If you look really closely at the card art between the Mewtwo and the Charizard, you'll see that there's a ton of other little cameo Pokemons and all kinds of little Easter eggs inside of the card art, and this is what I think fantastic Pokemon cards are all about. When there's a story involved, when there's colors, when there's action, vibrance, and all kinds of little intricate details. So this is a great pair, and it's actually pretty affordable. The Charizard VSTAR is definitely the more affordable of the two, but yeah, I would say pick up these two cards as a pair and they're gonna look great on display. Next up, we have one of my personal favorite cards, which I think a lot of people are slept on, and that's completely okay, and that is the Altaria EX Illustration Rare. I think this card is really gorgeous. I love the color scheme. This is one of my favorite kind of color design. The detail on the landscape is all there, and I just love that kind of landscape sweeping cloud kind of feel where you can see Altaria flying with all these other Pokemon. This card art, I know it's a Pokemon card, but I just love the landscape and the earth atmosphere of it so much. So this is on the list just because I think it's a gorgeous looking card. Next up, we got ourselves a Japanese promo card, one that you probably have never heard of, and that is the Celebration Fanfare promo card. This card was given out to a bunch of players of the Pokemon card game. You actually have to play the Pokemon card game to have a chance of getting this card, and in general these cards can actually be some of the best looking promo cards. I just love the scene. We got Pikachu, we got Charmander, and all these other Pokemon having a little tea party or picnic in the background, and I just think it's super adorable. If you're into those kinds of art where there's a bunch of Pokemon interacting with each other, then I think this card will look great inside of your collection. It's a really cool looking card, and it is sort of a low budget pseudo trophy card, so definitely cool to have inside of your collection. Next up, we got one of the cheapest cards on the list, and that is the Pikachu Secret Rare from Crown Zenith. What a cool card. The Japanese version is a little bit better because it has some more interesting texturing that you just don't get inside of the English version. However, if you can't afford the Japanese, I think the English version is fantastic. It's going for below $10, so it's a super affordable card. And this card represents so much to me. It's almost like an end to an era because this card is one of the last final secret rare yellow border Pokemon card that we ever really got. And there's so much going on in the card. Of course, I love card art when there's more than one Pokemon and there's a plethora of them on this card, and it's all from the Sword and Shield era. This is really us saying goodbye to the Sword and Shield era and moving on to the silver border Scarlet and Violet era. And inside of the card art, we see Zacian, we see Urshifu, we see Inteleon, just a bunch of Pokemon that represent Sword and Shield. So if you want a card that represents the end of the era of yellow border Pokemon cards, and I think this is an easy one to add inside of your collection. It looks super cool. It's a secret rare from Crown Zenith, and it's super affordable, going for well below $10. In sixth place, we have a really awesome series of Japanese Pokemon cards, and that is the Yaba Eevee promo cards. These came as a really awesome set from the Japanese Pokemon Center, and a lot of people did actually pick these up. When I picked them up from the Japanese Pokemon Center myself, all you had to do was purchase some Pokemon card related products in a given couple of days, and these would be added to your cart. You could get up to 10 unique packs, and hopefully you got the complete set within your 10 packs, because it's possible that you absolutely do not get all of them, which would be really, really annoying. The most expensive one from the group is definitely going to be the Umbreon. Whether you like these cards or not, you probably already made up your mind on them. I think they're kind of cute. They're a little bit adorable, so I love them as a series. But if you don't enjoy these cards, I completely understand it, because the art is a little bit goofy and some people don't really understand why they're even that popular, just because they think they might look ugly, and that's completely okay, because of course Pokemon cards can be a bit subjective. You can like certain cards, and that's why I would say this list is the most subjective one, because your top 10 list might look completely different from mine. So let me know if you disagree or agree with any of the cards on these lists, because there's a lot of them, and there's even some more, which I think more controversial cards, at least near the topper end of this list. In fifth place, we have two more cards from Crown Zenith. Can you guys tell that I like Crown Zenith? Because I definitely really like this set. And these two cards are the Arceus VSTAR as well as the Giratina VSTAR. Now, there are some other gold cards, but these two specifically really takes the cake for me. They are really awesome. They almost work together as a complete pair, and of course if you have the other ones, they go together as well. But specifically Arceus and Giratina, where they have this sort of duality to them. Of course, Giratina is on this mountain arching over a ton of light, and of course Giratina is on the other end, which almost looks like it's representing something morbid, something like death. And I just love this kind of heaven and hell sort of allegory that they have going on with these two cards. If you look really closely, especially at the Giratina card, which I think is even more detailed than the Arceus card, it really brings out a lot of Renaissance vibe to me personally, and I absolutely love it. It's really, really cool, and these two cards look fantastic together. If you pick anything out from this year, I would say some of the best cards are from Crown Zenith. There's just so many cool art cards. It was actually hard to just round it down to just a handful, and a lot of them did make it into my top 10 list. In fourth place, we have a really awesome Japanese Pokemon card, and that is the Detective Pikachu promo card. Now this card is really interesting. The Pokemon Company did a really awesome with this card art. It looks fantastic. I love the artist approach for this card because it's unlike anything we've seen in the past. I love how Detective Pikachu is riding on a Growlithe. It brings a lot of that sleuthing vibe like Sherlock Holmes and some other detective novels or movies. It really brings apart that vibe, but of course the colors are vibrant, right? It's not a dark alleyway. It's not something that's super mysterious, so it's bringing on that Pokemon theme to it, where it's a super colorful and adorable card, but it's got this gritty charm to it. So it's a really awesome card. All you have to do was pre-order the Detective Pikachu game from Japan, and you would be able to get one of these promo cards inside of every single game cartridge. It's honestly a really good idea to sell the game cartridges because of course the card is probably worth as much as some of the Switch games, so it makes complete sense. They did the same thing with Scarlet and Violet and some of the other Pokemon games as well, where they would put an insert card inside of every single game. I'm gonna tell you right now, if they did that over here in the United States, I would be picking up every new Pokemon Switch game, even more so than I already do. So it's a really cool idea, and they should honestly take this marketing tactic and go even further with it because they would sell so many more games. In third place, we have a really cool series of cards, and I've already talked about these cards in some other videos. I can't stop talking about it, but it deserves to be on this list regardless of what price or value it's currently going for, because it is a really awesome series of cards, and that is the Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir EX. Specifically, the Gardevoir EX is probably going to be the best looking of the three. It's just got a ton more texturing and just additional details compared to the first two, but you really do need all three cards. As far as a series of art cards, I think this one tells the most beautiful story that they've done so far this year. It's a fantastic series of cards, and it's definitely my favorite illustration rare series that they have released so far for the Scarlet and Violet series. In second place, we have another Pikachu card, I know, and this one's going to be really controversial, and that is the Great Felt Hat Pikachu card. Love it or hate it, I think this card is probably one of the most phenomenal cards to come out of 2023. It is a Vincent van Gogh card, which how can I not love? It's a really, really cool card. And there are people out there, viewers, who were only able to pick up this card for the 1 or 2 hours that it was up during the second release when I made a notification on YouTube, and a lot of people did thank me that they were able to pre-order this copy. But here's the kicker, you really shouldn't have to have some YouTuber or content creator notify you when a card is released so you can get in line immediately to get it before it sells out. These cards should be readily available for days, if not weeks. There's absolutely no reason for you to be on a wait list to get a copy of this card. And I don't love how the launch of the Van Gogh and Pokemon collab really happened, but it is what it is. It's in the past, and I hope the Pokemon company really learned something from it. I was able to get some of the merch from the Van Gogh drop just through other viewers. A viewer actually sent me a Pikachu Van Gogh mug, which I really, really appreciate, and I sent a really cool Pikachu promo card back to them as a thank you. And of course, I have the Great Felt Hat promo card now. I have one single copy inside of my collection, and that's all I have right now, and it's a really cool card. Hopefully it's PSA 10, but that's all I really need from this set. And unfortunately, not everyone was able to get this card in for a free promo card. It should have been more readily available. They should have just printed a ton of these, and they could have made so much more sales. There was just really no reason why it was so short printed. Perhaps it had something to do with an agreement with the museum in Amsterdam. That's my only theory on why it was so short printed, that they couldn't actually sell more because they had under some contractual agreement that they could not sell more. So that's my only suggestion, is that for future drops, they should print more. But this card, whether you think it's controversial or awesome or whatever it is, I think it deserves this spot on the list. And in first place, we have a really awesome card that I haven't gushed over enough this year, and it is absolutely deserving of this spot on the list. If you haven't guessed it, maybe you have guessed it, the card of the year that I think is the best Pokemon card to release in 2023 is the Magikarp Illustration Rare. What a really cool card. This card encompasses everything about the Pokemon world that I absolutely love. It's such a cool looking card. If you look in it, this card is legendary status in my opinion. It's a really awesome art piece. There's so much detail going on, and it's really telling the mythos of Magikarp. The story of Magikarp is one of resilience, where if a Magikarp is able to jump up this water stream or waterfall and jump through this dragon gate, then it would evolve into a Gyarados. This is the mythos of Magikarp, this small water Pokemon that is really weak, but through resilience and persistence, it was able to evolve into Gyarados, and a dragon is pretty much what it evolves into. And that's the idea behind this card, is to completely tell that story and tell that mythos in a single card. The card's detail is so amazing, and the Magikarp is already one of the most expensive illustration rare, so I'm late to the party here. People have already recognized how cool this card is way before I ever talked about it. And if you look at the card, you can see everything that's happening there. You can see Magikarp jumping up the waterfall. You can see the Gyarados overlooking at it from the very top of the peak. So you can see all the details in the card, and it's a really awesome art piece to be able to tell this complete story in such a small package. And I think this card encompasses everything that I love about Pokemon card. It tells such an awesome story, that it deserves this spot. It is the best card to come out of this year in my opinion, and I've looked at every card that I could think of to put in this spot, and the one that stands out the most to me was the Magikarp. Alright everybody, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. This has been the complete list of the best cards from 2023. Let me know what your thoughts are. Did some of your favorite cards not make it on the list? Because I can tell you, my original list was over 100 cards and I had to just write them off until I got down to a manageable number. So let me know, what am I missing from this list? What am I sleeping on? What should have definitely been in the top 5, but unfortunately it slipped my mind. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had an awesome 2023, and I'll see you guys very soon.